You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
This is a journo-rat-felting emergency appeal. Every day, video game journalists like Alyssa Mercante are suffering from a mind virus called YouTuber derangement syndrome. The symptoms include intense narcissism, smugness, bizarrely inflated sense of self-importance, and above all else, an obsession with how much money YouTubers make. Particularly when they make that money covering journalists with this affliction. A little money can make all the difference to curing this terrible affliction, so please, donate anything you can, $2, $5, channel memberships, a $50 super sticker, to your nearest YouTuber. And help the spying, snitching, journo trash learn once and for all that they are irrelevant maniacs who you wouldn't piss on if they were on fire. Thank you.
Power of 1, the power of 2, the power of...
Down to Poppa Roach, bleed 182!
The power of 1, the power of 2, the power of...
He's gonna make a great stepdad for Jake.
He's a smee.
He's
He's a smee.
He's
a smee.
He's a
smig. Hey.
Victimizers beware, the racist and bigots' greatest nightmare. Social justice warriors, get triggered.
It's the bias response team.
If you've been offended, your feelings must be defended. Go! The freedom of expression is a microaggression. Here comes Candappa Freddy. He's always ready to fight fascism with fascism.
Starbucks windows don't stand a chance.
Ethic enhancer. He's a systematic racism finder. Using the powers of screaming and shame, they win every debate by calling your name. They're heroes who think that they're victims. Social justice warriors. Get triggered. Engines roar through the ash-gray skies. The wasteland burns, but hope won't die. Every screen's a twisted lie, built to break us, make us comply. They poison the heroes, rewrite the tales, turn legends to dust, leave us frail. But we're not done, we won't bow down. Through the wreckage, we'll take the crown. Steel hearts ignite, fire in our veins. Freedom's calling, breaking the chains. They can't erase what we already know. HyperDrive now, let's fucking go.
Oh, yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome back. Of course, it's a very important day for me, but we'll be getting to that in just a few seconds. But of course, we've got some other things to talk about first. But before all that, ladies, gentlemen, and nothing in between, welcome once again. Welcome once again to another voyage of discovery, racing through the wastes of the internet to the further reaches of sanity on a never-ending quest to rid the universe of absolute bollocks. Now, of course, before we set off, please ensure that you keep your brains inside the vehicle at all times with your eyeballs firmly screwed to the screen. Who is here for today's little excursion into the world of woke to who, or black to woke, if you like? Well, of course, we've got the hyper focus on feminism in gaming, of course, a bit of that as well. Why the hell not? And potentially the wokest game studio ever. Well, we'll see. That all depends on whether or not Smash JT is right. But as some of my new fans are finding out, I very often end up agreeing with him. But in the meantime, let's see who's already here. Derek Smith says number 8 for pre-liked stream. Look at this legend go. Pre-liking the stream. Pre-liking the stream just to make sure that it gets picked up and thrown into the faces of everybody else who may and probably will be interested. Dividing Dragons here with happy, equal opportunity, non-denominational blessings for everybody. And of course, it's lovely to see everybody. Sardoc Spamfish is here as well, as always, saying hi, Grifters. Hello to you too. Hello and greetings and welcome. Oh, wait, no, you've somehow not still got a membership to the Grift Force. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, indeed. Robin Oz is here, says hello, hooligans, which, of course, is a nice pastiche and parody of Truvians, which, of course, should be Truligans, but who has a Clueligan? Anyway, James Opp is here as well, says, I think Hypno finally finished that piece of shit game. How is he finally finished playing Avowed? That guy has got some metal, I gotta say. I would have stopped playing that a long time ago. It just doesn't need to exist. It doesn't do anything that hasn't been done before and better by other games. And I know, of course, we don't all love Bethesda these days, but if you can't out Skyrim 14 years after it came out, you really are kind of in trouble. And that's just irritating as hell. But there we go. Anyway, need the extended version. Not going to lie. What, of the theme tune? The HyperDrive time theme tune? Well, I don't know that there really is an extended version of that. I think that's all there is. I think when I made it to only have like one verse, one chorus, and everything like that. James Up. My God, man. My God. Getting us started early, are we? Well, let's move on to that then, because we do have a lot to get through. And of course, today is Suikoden day, finally, in about 8 hours' time, just under that. We're going to finally get our hands, or at least I will be getting my hands on, and we'll all have the opportunity to get our hands on the remastered of 2 absolute timeless classic JRPGs from the PlayStation 1 era. One of the series that kickstarted that fantastic JRPG, not even renaissance, but like the first real boosting of JRPGs into the West on PlayStation 1. You couldn't move for freaking awesome games on the PlayStation platform back in the day in JRPG form. It was largely kicked off by Final Fantasy VII, but of course Suikoden actually predates Final Fantasy VII. So in many ways, you could say that that was responsible as well. We'll be taking a great big look at that towards the back end of the show. Indulge me as I revel in the fact that after 20 years of waiting, and after joining the Suikoden revival movement, who, by the way, have just got to be feeling so very fucking vindicated today. we're going to get it. We're going to get something we actually never thought we'd see. Like statistically, I would never have said I even held out hope for this happening. There was a time even 5-10 years ago, I would have said, this is never going to happen. Never. Preserve physical media because you'll never get an update. And here it is anyway. Prove me wrong. Never been so happy to be wrong. So beautiful. Of course, guys, we are going to kick things off very quickly. So if you are here and you are liking the stream, you know what to do. Of course you do.
The stream.
Yes, like the stream. It does help to pick up some lost souls along the way. Other folks who might be looking for somewhere to go, some nice people to talk to. And of course, your in-flight entertainment can be unlocked by hitting the join button. And of course, getting access to emojis, member streams that will be coming up later in the month. It's been a bit of a fraught week for me, so I'll probably end up doing the member stream on Monday. That is the plan anyway. And of course, it helps to keep the ship in the skies, which is key here if you like what I do and you want me to be able to carry on doing it, of course. And if you have any questions, comments, or you just want to pull over for a second, don't forget to tip your driver. Speaking of the Grift Force, James Opp is here. James Opp, of course, absolute legend among the fans of Will of the Fans, and really just great guy, constant contributor, and much appreciated colleague. Is running gamergate2.org. Be sure to check that website out if you feel like you don't want to be smeared like Gamergate 1 was. Absolutely check that out. He's here gifted 10 Will of the Fans memberships straight out of the gate. Fantastic.
Drop it.
There's one thing you better know, and that is, I love all of y'all. Listen, can I explain something to you about being a daddy?
Don't try to frighten us with your devotion.
Daddy is the breadwinner. You dig what I'm saying? And if you don't win that bread, it just don't come around.
Yeah. More green for Princess of the Fans. And of course, upcoming also second Princess of the Fans, who will be joining us in around about July. So there you go. Thank you very much, James Up. Appreciate you there, buddy. And even though it doesn't say so on the gauge, there is a significant good portion of it that is now red or should be red. Wish I could do something to make it total all donations, but for some reason it only does super chats. How very annoying. But I will be counting it. So thank you very much for helping me fill the blood gauge, fill the modern audience tears, and get that closer to firing off a game stream for a lengthy period of time a bit later on today, which of course will be Suikoden, because what the hell else am I going to play on this day? Now, of course, let's get into some other stuff before we go ahead with that. We have a few topics to cover, but I did want to just call attention to this one stupid article that's been written about Doctor Who, because it's, well, I mean, I think I've already made it clear why. It's ridiculously stupid. We're going to have a quick look about this because it does appear that some people are not getting the memo yet that this show is toast. Okay. This show has nothing to do with what it once was anymore. Like nothing. Yeah, it still looks surface level like sci-fi, but Star Wars still looks surface level like space fantasy. Surface level, if you don't actually do any real scrutinizing, you would be forgiven for thinking this is the same old show, or rather you would with Star Wars anyway. But with Doctor Who, I mean, there's a couple of things that you would immediately notice if you were to dive into even 20 seconds of Doctor Who. You would probably immediately notice that there is very little left of Doctor Who. I mean, hell, they didn't even use the TARDIS for about half the episodes of the last series. And of course, there are way bigger problems than that. But it was very conspicuous that they were never actually inside the TARDIS for pretty much like 5 out of the episodes in the last series. But of course, they're going to try and say that there's other issues with it, that it's not got anything to do with the fact that they took something that was quintessentially British and replaced everything about it with things that are un-British, completely un-British, completely untraditional, a-traditional as well. Of course, we're talking about wokeness. We're talking about DEI casting. We're talking about a character who, once again, guys, until I'm blue in the face, abandoned his companion in a strange time to go and chase some strange alien sausage. In what universe should the Doctor ever be throwing on some Kylie Minogue and grind into the air? No idea. There are bigger problems, of course, than the one that they're trying to claim is the problem here. But we're going to go ahead here and see, because it seems like it's finally okay to tee off on Doctor Who now, but no one is actually like willing to talk about the real obvious reason. It's the same thing as when you see Hollywood attempting to cover themselves for why no one wants to watch Marvel anymore. And it's, of course, they'll say, oh, it's superhero fatigue. There's been too many superhero movies. No. Nah. That's just obviously not true. Look at how Deadpool and Wolverine did last year. At this point, it's just time to acknowledge it's not superhero fatigue. It's not sci-fi fatigue. It's not Doctor Who fatigue. It's shit content fatigue. All right. It's content for content's sake fatigue. It's insulting the audience's intelligence fatigue. That's what we're tired of. And of course, it's just general woke fatigue, as I've pointed out time and time again. It's not that you put black people or gay people or whatever into something. It's the fact that it's done in a way that is beating you over the head with what they've taken from you. Like, for example, they've taken away the Britishness from Doctor Who. They've taken the fact that Britain is still, even now, like a 75% white traditionalist country, and replaced it with postmodern crap with absolutely no white people with any speaking lines in several scenes, like some weird racial Bechdel test. So there's that. It all looks terrible, and but they think it's actually about the fact that they don't make the show about the Doctor anymore. So let's give them a go here. This is from Days Johnston. Okay. Yes, exactly, Dividing Dragon. You're throwing them out in the chat. I see the emojis, buddy. Doctor Who loves to bring back an old companion. That's true. Donna Noble appeared in the Christmas special, but then came back for an entire season. Yeah, but that's because we at that point only had one episode of her. So it was like a litmus test, and they figured out that this is going to work. So they went ahead and continued with more episodes with Donna Noble, which are fantastic, by the way, because Donna Noble was an incredibly relatable character for a lot of people, especially in that particular era when, well, actually, kind of funnily enough, cultural Marxism was starting to, plant its roots a little bit. The job market was drying up, and a lot of people were having trouble making ends meet, still living with their parents, barely able to survive paycheck to paycheck. That was pretty much the existence of Donna Noble. That was who she was. She was just an every girl. There was nothing supposedly remarkable about her in any way, shape, or form. And yet she had the ability to completely change everything, to save the Doctor by just literally talking to him, and thus save the future. If we saw that with Turn Left. Great character. But the most important thing, I think, the reason why people like Donna Noble so much, and Derek Smith, you've already clearly picked up on what I'm going for here. Well done. Is that she was an extremely relatable character. Operative word was. When they brought her back, first of all, they should never have undone the tragic plot device that they used as her way out of the show, having lost her memory and being unable to actually remember anything on pain of potentially destroying the universe, certainly dying herself. She was relegated back to just being who she was, with none of the knowledge of all the important things that she'd done, the hundreds of thousands of lives that she'd saved, and millions, in fact, billions of lives that she'd saved. And was that going to have to go back to thinking that she was nothing to no one and never understand her importance, which sucked. A little bit of a Libby kind of mentality there, I suppose, but we'll forgive them for that because it was done exceptionally well. When she came back, what did they do to her? Well, I mean, obviously, the really, really gigantic, glaring issue with Donna Noble now is the fact that she has a trans son daughter who is apparently only 15, by the way, in the show, based on the timeline. And that would be a crime, actually, in the UK, even now, and certainly now. A crime to allow underage people who cannot consent to even regular sex to take those people and make them trans is a crime. So what the hell can you relate to about that? What percentage of the population would proudly tout that they've trans their underage child? Thus did any relatability go completely out the window. There was absolutely nothing left that you could relate to about that show. Shout out to Scott Hotfed in the chat. Hello, how are you? Anyway, Captain Jack Harkness was in one of the first episodes after the 2005 reboot. He was in the back end of the entire first series, really, wasn't he? Like from the World War II. Yeah, from the World War II Blitz double episodes, Are You My Mummy, all the way to the end of the show. He became an important character. It was a big deal. And people just found him charming. Because, of course, it's worth remembering that Captain Jack Harkness is forever going to be the asterisk in any narrative they try to spin that the world wasn't a tolerant place before, you know, the 2010s and beyond. Because everybody liked Captain Jack Harkness. We didn't give a shit that he was a pansexual. It was kind of an, oh, no, Jack, what you like kind of situation. Like, oh, who's he going to snog next? Some sort of tentacle monster, maybe a giant space insect. You know, the guy was a Lothario with a sex drive that could straddle the universe. Excuse me for hiccuping there. But he came back again and again, even sparking a spin-off. I mean, I don't know if that was always the plan. Maybe it was, but I don't know. And for the record, the spin-off came before he really came back in a cameo role. The spin-off happened between him being a regular cast member and just appearing as a cameo, so they've got the timeline wrong there as well. Not one, not two, but two, rather. Companions were played by actresses with previous roles in the series. Yes, so who gives a shit? They played like non-entity characters. The Doctor was played by an actor who had a previous role, a very prominent role in an episode in Pompeii. The repetition is usually baked into the narrative. Doctor Who is about time travel, after all, so people can weave in and out of the Doctor's life all the time. Not really. Not really. I mean, because, yes, Karen Gillan appeared in Pompeii as well, but she was covered in freaking stone skin and barely recognizable as her. So when she came back, yeah, she was playing a totally different character. It was a lot more glaring with Freema Agyeman, who, of course, played a character in Torchwood and then returned in the very next series to play the companion, Martha Jones, which is that's a big sort of disconnect, a big disturbance in your willing suspension of disbelief, because this girl is literally just playing like it's just her face. There's no makeup or anything. And then they have to say, oh, it was actually her cousin who died at Torchwood in the Battle of Canary Wharf. Her cousin with the exact same face as her. Seems like the fact that the father was dating a white woman ain't the only pile of lies in that family. Anyway, but there you go. So that's what they're basically trying to say here. And you can always tell, if you notice this, you can always tell when an article is attempting to construct a paradoxical narrative. It's becoming something that you've trained your brain to see, right? At a certain point, whenever you see something like this, you're like, okay, so you're selectively taking certain elements of the show before and cherry picking them to create a through line that will later support your narrative. I mean, basically anyone can do that. It's effectively building a straw man. But anyway, a new familiar face poses a big problem. The season 2 trailer for the recently rebooted Doctor Who reveals its storyline arc is once again repeating a big theme and making a big mistake. Not watching the trailer, fuck you. The trailer introduces Varada Sethu as Belinda Chandra. Beautiful British name. A companion unlike any we've seen before. She's not interested in going on adventures through time and space. She just wants to get home. You haven't missed anything yet. However, the TARDIS may have other plans for her, meaning she'll have to take the scenic route with the Doctor. You gotta love how they always write that kind of crap in here. Why do you continue to give us companions and assistants who don't want anything to do with the big spacey adventure? Why does this happen? I have no idea. However, one key part of her character is something we've seen before. Seth, who previously played Anglican. Oh, God, yeah, of course. Gotta have that Moffat episode with the religious soldiers. Marty Flynn in the season 1 episode Boom. But fans assumed the two characters were unrelated, much like how Karen Gillan appeared in Fires of Pompeii before she was cast as companion Amy Pond. Again, you're trying to build a narrative here. But in the trailer, we see Belinda face-to-face with a display of Mundy, meaning the reappearance is not only part of the plot, but a key point in the season-long arc for the episode. This is an incredibly common trope for Doctor Who in recent years. In 2012, Season 7 introduced Oswin, a mysterious souffle-making crew member of a crashed ship who turned out to be trapped inside a Dalek. She then appeared over and over throughout space and time, resulting in a season of Doctor Who trying to figure out the impossible girl. Even in the previous season, the season-long mystery focused on both companion Ruby Sunday and mysterious recurring guest star Susan Twist, whose identity proved to be a central plot point. You say that, but Susan Twist was never properly explained either. Just like nothing was properly explained in the last series, Series 1, 14 or 40 of Doctor Who. There was no explanation whatsoever. That's why it was shit. I mean, they implied that Sutek, who had himself turned into a giant jackal, God, this fucking show, had deposited Susan Twists all over space and time. Why? Can anyone answer that question? What did it accomplish? All it did was ultimately bring, you know, Mokta and Ruby to UNIT to try and figure it out. Although actually they were only there to try and figure out her parentage. Something that they said they couldn't do. And then they just suddenly were able to do it at the end of that two-parter. Very strange. But of course, they were also concerned about who Susan Twist is, and she kept appearing throughout various episodes. But what did it accomplish? What did it accomplish having her there? Like nothing. Literally nothing was accomplished. It was the strangest possible way to reveal yourself to the Doctor. And for that matter, why pick now? Like, why pick that exact moment to finally reappear? Why not just get him while he's halfway through the battle with the Master? I mean, Sutek was there the whole time. He could have really fucked things up for the Doctor if he'd got him while he was already fighting someone else. In many ways, Sutek is a tactical moron. Anyway, whatever. Once again, it looks like Doctor Who will be focusing on figuring out the existence of a companion instead of focusing on the Doctor. Well, you know, the funny thing is, actually, the show was never actually supposed to be about the Doctor. When it first started, it was actually about his granddaughter, also Susan, and he was just the strange plot device, a walking plot device guy, the lore dump, the you know, the Basil exposition of the show. Where are we, Doctor? Oh, let me explain to you. I know everything about this. Okay. And then it's more that you see it through the eyes of the assistant, the companion. It's only as it went on and on and on later that it became more about the Doctor, because, I mean, that would have happened organically, because you can't have a show on the air for 26 seasons where the Doctor keeps regenerating into different actors with different personalities and not make it sometimes about that. You know, that's just reasonable. Says here, though, sure, meditations of the Doctor's complex morality and existence can get tiring, but the character's personality changes with each regeneration, and it feels like we haven't been given the opportunity to get to know this version. He's been too busy fixing the issues around him for us to get a clear sense of the character. No. You can't blame this on another impossible girl. This is shit writing. This is what's caused this. Terrible freaking writing. That's all it is. That's all it is. You haven't written a character worth actually paying attention to. And there is the issue. There is the issue indeed. No one's interested in getting to know the character because we know it will be written like shit. That's the reason. That's the reason why we find ourselves not caring. It's got absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with him being too busy fixing the issues. And let's be honest here, there's another element to this. They're talking through their asshole. What did he actually accomplish in the entire series? Let's think. he did nothing to save the space babies from the snot monster. They saved themselves. He facilitated that, but then he let them get away with it, and they all just had a change of heart. Then what? What was in the next one? Oh, the drag queen. He didn't do anything about that. He didn't do anything about that. Ruby Sunday spooked the drag queen, and then the Beatles saved the world. Fuck's sake. He actually accomplished bugger all. And then, of course, after that, he walked straight out onto a landmine and was trapped on the spot for the entire episode until a Deus Ex Machina fixed everything. Okay, yeah, he did actually say that that was a possibility that could happen, which shouldn't have been, because it was, in fact, just a giant Deus Ex Machina. Well, then what? Let's see. 73 yards, he wasn't even there. Dot and Bubble, he failed to save anyone. They wouldn't even listen to him. All he did in that was have a massive rage fit, spit and cry and scream. What after that? I can't think. Oh, then Rogue. He definitely didn't save anybody there. I mean, he spent pretty much the entire episode chasing the Rogue, as I pointed out, abandoning his companion until he thought she had died. And even then, he's still focused on making out with a man. Yeah, just for the kids. And then what happened in Sutek? I guess you could say he did something there, but that was really only because the universe had been destroyed. The entire universe had been killed, and he had nothing better to do. No strange alien sausage to chase. So finally, he had to actually do some stuff. But almost everything that they did to fix the world in that made no sense anyway, like being able to go to a future that still happened, even though the universe ended 20 years before it. Pure muppetry. So he hasn't really been busy fixing the issues. It's just that his character is shit. What does he do? He flirts with men and he cries. Great character. Fuck's sake. Hopefully this rehash of an old mystery will find a way to keep things fresh. There is nothing fresh about Doctor Who anymore. Nothing fresh. At this point, it has a yeast infection. But it's taken a mysterious companion story from a trope to just a bad habit. Maybe this time there'll be room for the Doctor to shine too. But I thought he did shine. I thought he was resplendent in all his finery and glowing, brilliant, dazzling talent. That's what you guys were trying to tell us all the way through the first series. And now you're saying, oh, actually, he wasn't that good. But it's not his fault. It's not his fault. It can't be his fault because he's gay and he's black. He's Rwandan. Oh, wait, no, he's Scottish. So we can't attack him. So why write the article at all? Yeah, obviously they're trying to say here that that the show has the problem of the girl who's the key to everything. Congratulations. I suppose technically you are correct about that. But in fact, we've been saying that for about 8 years now. We've been seeing that plot device played out time and time and time again for pretty much the entire duration of the woke run of entertainment. It's one of the woke tropes now that everybody just looks for all the time when a new show comes out. Oh, is it going to be the girl who's the key to everything? Oh, yes. There it is again. There's the trope. So there you go. Once again, no one's got the balls to actually just say what's really wrong with this show. And we all know what's actually really wrong with this show, and it's simple. It's fucking woke. It's decided to weaponize identity and use it as a dividing line between different peoples so that you can demoralize and destabilize Western civilization. It's Marxism. That's what wokeness means. I've said it 1,000 times before. It's wokeness, and wokeness is Marxism, and Marxism is culture cancer. So there you go. We've got, what, a month and a little bit now until the next and potentially final series of Doctor Who comes out. Of course, I will be reviewing it for all you guys because that is my commitment. And, I mean, I'm really not looking forward to seeing this dude rolling around in a bowler hat. But, hey, it is what it is. There it is. Oh, hey, guys. Welcome my stalker to the chat. Anyway, there we go. So we're going to go right ahead and move on to the next thing. But basically, Doctor Who, I mean, it's been dead for so long now that what we are seeing is just a reanimated corpse being puppeted around in drag. There's nothing left to like about it. There's it's not even really any point criticizing it anymore. And when they do criticize it in any way, finally, instead of just saying it's championing the greatest things in the world and all the diversity, equity, and inclusion in the universe, blah, 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 blah. When they do finally get around to criticizing it, they miss the mark completely and just regurgitate stuff we've been saying for about 8 years. Pointless. Totally pointless. There you go. The show will be dead soon anyway. There'll be absolutely no reason to continue with this crap. Anyway, there you go. We will move on from there. Because there's plenty of other cringe things happening at the moment. Plenty of other cringe. Anyway, there we go. Let's continue on then with a little bit of laughing at Steam, which of course is not something I do as a general practice. I tend, in fact, to really like Steam and really appreciate the way that they do business. I like the way that they are still private, that they don't toe the line in any particular direction when it comes to trying to impress the corporate overlords, the globalist agenda, and all of that stuff. Not at all. So anyway, let's crack on and get into this, because we are looking at a very special day on Steam. And no, I'm not yet talking about Suikoden. No, not at all. I'm talking about Women's Day sale, baby. Yeah, that's right. It's time once again to focus on the women. Yeah. Whoopee-doo. Here we go. Women's Day sale. Games by woman-led studios. It's just cringe. I don't know why they involve this shit. Like, why does it matter the sex of someone who made a game? Why? Why does it matter at all? Why does the race matter? Why does the sex matter? Of course, we know none of this shit matters. None of it matters. It's just, again, a way to divide, a way to alienate someone, to create a problem for yourself to fix, which is basically the ultimate grift. It's what we've been seeing all this time, whether it's this stuff or it's Sweet Baby Inc., of course, championing the idea that you need to go out there and tell people how awful and evil and undiverse and racist and sexist everything is, so that you can also convince them to hire you to fix it.
Go have a coffee
wonderful.
with your marketing team and just terrify them. With the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
But hey, that's just a theory. A theory.
Kind of walked into that one, bro. Women's Day sale. Games by woman-led studios. Anyway, the Women's Day sale features a broad selection of games, demos, and discounts on games created by teams led by women and other gender marginalized developers. Fuck. Gender marginalized developers. Guys, let's just see how we feel about this. Women. Okay, let's get in there and have a little chat. Yeah. Women, yeah. How marginalized would you say women are in 2025? How necessary do you think it is to hyper focus on and celebrate the work of women? Is there any point to this at all? Of course not. Indeed. And yes, Echo Chamberlain has done a series of very good videos on the fact that people are being more or less booted out of every industry just for the crime of having a penis. So there you go. I mean, there's no smoke without fire. And the fact that men don't even bother with creative arts anymore, by and large, they just don't. They don't bother doing anything really anymore, is indicative of a really big problem. So there we go. Anyway, That's right, Scott. Anyway, so the Women's Day sale features a broad selection of games, demos, and discounts on games and teams led by women and other gender marginalized developers, like, because that fucking matters, doesn't it? That has everything to do with quality work. That's what we think about that. Plus an exciting week of streams and showcases to help you discover more. Hey, well, let's have a look. Let's have a look, guys. Benefit of the doubt. Let's have a look and see what the women are making, shall we? Here we go. We've got Key Locker, turn-based cyberpunk action. Oh, okay, that sounds kind of interesting. You know what I'm seeing, though? An awful lot of purple. An awful lot of purple. And here again, with this one, Potions, A Curious Tale. Oh, it's a witch. It's another game about a witch, guys. I wonder if she's a lesbian, too. Because apparently all witches are. Apparently that's the case. So fair enough. Then we've got Kill the Crows. Okay, this actually looks different. There's no purple everywhere, at least. But of course, the main character is a woman. Because that's all you know. It's not like men make games exclusively where the playable characters are men. Okay? Yes, there are an awful lot of them. An awful lot of them. But we also make games about anthropomorphic super fast hedgehogs or heavily armed ninja turtles. You know, it doesn't always have to be that kind of thing. Hell, we sometimes make games where you play as cubes or marbles or anything. In fact, it doesn't have to be about promoting your sex, promoting your gender, promoting your ideology. Sometimes it is. Sometimes we do it for fun. Like you guys are mentioning Duke Nukem 3D. 20th Anniversary Edition. Ah, that's interesting. I haven't played that game for a long time. So yeah, that would make sense. But we carry on anyway. Let's keep going. Race for the Galaxy. Don't know this one. Never heard of it. What is that? Develop Technologies. Is this a trading card game? For fuck's sake. All right. Then we've got cutesy wootsy cartoon art style. Looks a little bit like The Binding of Isaac, maybe, but it's a platformer. Real imaginative. Like a creepy pink and gray version of Super Meat Boy. So many great new ideas. So many great new ideas. All-time fan favorites. Okay. Rusted Moss. Hey, this one actually looks all right. Yeah, not bad. Kind of interesting, at least. Terrascape. Oh, it's like Civilization, huh? But, you know, markedly cuter. Fair enough. What else we got? Furry? Oh, Fury. A lot of purple around again. That looked like a purple version of Perfect Cell there for a second. The hell is this game? Huh. Oh, there you go. Anyway. Yeah. Copycat. A game about being a cat. Well, of course, a woman made that. Sexist jokes are still funny. And if you try to tell me they're not, fuck you. Stop trying to censor me. Boreas. All right, fair enough. Aurora Boreas, maybe? What? Anthropomorphic penguins. Okay. It's all, they all look a lot the same, don't they? They all look very, very similar. There's a lot of pixel art. There's a lot of pinks, purples, cutesy wootsy cartoon style. Some women just never got over The Nightmare Before Christmas. Did they? No. Anyway, Scarlet Hollow. Yeah, cringe. And this one is just bizarre. What else do we get? The Fractured Shimmer. Of course, women like their horror, don't they? They love to be terrified. Not sure about that. Sardoc Spamfish. If you want me to read out stupid jokes, you know what to do. That was good, though. Bugaboo Pocket. Okay, great. There's nothing gripping me here. There's nothing that I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, God damn, that looks really interesting. I really want to play that. I don't know why. It's like women have just sort of created a niche for themselves of making cutesy, wootsy, pointless just bullshit, nothing products, like just filler, like shovelware. And I don't know why. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. It's because that's what women want to play. Great. Fine. Fair enough, I suppose. They're all cheap, so enjoy that. But, you know, again, this whole thing is coming through the lens of gender marginalized developers, which is just fucking DEI. It's just critical sex theory. That's all it is. And it's just ludicrous, and promoting the idea that, you know, for these people to be marginalized, they must be marginalized by someone else. And of course, the people that they always say are the ones marginalizing the women and marginalizing the gays, the marginalizing the blacks and marginalizing everybody are the straight white men, as they continue to try and make enemies out of us all. Oh, fuck off. Jesus Christ. What the hell's the matter with you? Anyway, plus an exciting week of streams and showcases, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Anyway, there we go. So we got all these games coming out that just look cringe and just boring. Cutesy, boring, cutesy, boring. I looked at a lot of these earlier on. And they're just getting, there's no imagination, it seems. They're just the same stuff. Look at this. Wish upon a llama. Is this what passes for, you know, intelligent game design these days? Look at this one. Cabin crew life simulator. Okay, so you've decided that you don't want to fulfill stereotypes as a woman, so you want to go into the tech industry. You want to start making video games and prove that women can do it too. So what do? You create a game where you are a servant, a flying waitress, serving men drinks in planes. This is just stupid. I thought that was considered, you know, passe now for stewardesses to even be called like stewardesses, because it implies that they're all women. Okay, they haven't gone with that far down it, but they have got like a 1950s art style here as everything else as well. Talk about making a game about what you know, right? I know. All my life I've dreamed of doing something outside the box and proving that women can create technical marvels as well. Well, let's see what we can do here. Let's make a game where I'm just playing the stereotype of a female stewardess waiting on men. You might as well have made 1950s beaten wife simulator. Anyway, there you go. Memory lost. Again, another twin stick shooter looking thing. The August before, chapter 1. Oh, great. A packing simulator. How very feminine. There's another one up here that made me laugh as well. Where is it? Oh, yeah, here you go. Look. Let's ride horses. Oh, 100 days winemaking simulator. Winemaking simulator. Fucking insane. There we go. Fucking embarrassing. What do I? It's like you've got all the stereotypes are here between cutesy animals making wine. I mean, okay, fine. So making and drinking wine, cute animals, cabin crew life simulator. Fucking amazing. Fucking amazing. And there you go. Oh, look at that. Who's that? Oh, it's Wings Interactive. How very interesting. Wings Interactive, that company that actually is just a front for Landfall Games using their trans-influenced colored DEI crap. Yep, Wings is involved. You fucking know it. There they are. We were all just talking about it a few weeks ago. Wings Interactive. Right there, just there you go. Just making their shit just to push the DEI crap. Wings funds indie games by women and gender diverse teams. Yeah. and then pays people to promote them because they're not actually independent. As soon as your independent game is in fact tied to this company, you are in fact tied to a major game studio, which is in fact tied to a lot of asset management, which is of course tied to Davos. Once again, same old shit. I'm sick of being lied to. I'm sick of being lied to, and I swear to God, it's getting to the point now where it's trolling. It's just deliberately being done, I think, to annoy people. I mean, go ahead if you like. We'll all just effectively tell them to go fuck themselves and not buy any of this shit. But there you go. Even Steam apparently is not exclusionary from the practice of pushing DEI bollocks. There you go. So that's really cringe and unfortunate. Of course, there are some games that are actually good that are coming out. And of course, we all know what I'm talking about. I have been gearing up for quite a long time now to take a look at this particular thing that's happening in gaming. Of course, I made videos years ago on an old channel where I was asking what the hell happened to JRPGs? Where did they go? What happened? They disappeared. And the ones that still exist, of course, now don't actually have turn-based combat or any of that kind of stuff. It's all action, teleporty, swishy lights and crap like that. Final Fantasy's gone that way. That's why I don't play the modern games. The last one I played was 15, and I'm not interested in playing any more of them. I didn't even bother with 16, which is actually the first time. The first time I have completely ignored a Final Fantasy game. Deliberately. That is the first time. I mean 9 numbered Final Fantasy, by the way. I'm not talking about spin-offs and sequels and parodies and everything like that. We're not talking about them. But at the end of the day, if you want a JRPG, the JRPGs need to be what they are. You can't change the nature of your genre and still call it that genre. That's what they tried to do with Star Wars, Star Trek, and everything else, which is one of the major reasons why we began to notice this pattern and call it out in the first place. I know some people like 16. I know they do. I just didn't care. I wasn't. The other reason, of course, that I didn't bother with Final Fantasy 16 is because they made it a PlayStation 5 exclusive. And I'm just not going to drop like $500 on a console for one game or even for 2 games or 3 games. If there are like 1,000 really good games that you can't get on anything else, that literally are impossible to put on anything else, then maybe I'll consider it. But as it stands right now, that's just not the case. And it won't be the case by the time the generation comes to a close. By the time we get a PlayStation 6, there'll be almost nothing left as a reason to actually own the machine. None whatsoever. It's really just kind of time for consoles to just become apps that you can play on a PC. There really is no point to any of this. So that's why I get annoyed when games change up their genres. They completely forget what they actually are, what they're supposed to be doing, and everything along those lines. So that's why I'm very happy, of course, that Suikoden is coming out today in a few hours, actually, in about 5 hours' time. And I'd really like to play it. I'd really like to. So that's what I'll be trying to get around to doing today. But, of course, in the meantime, we're going to have a look at some of the broadcasts that Konami put out, because it really is a big deal. There's a timeline of events here. Well, I'd like to fill the bar and stream it. But anyway, there's a timeline, right? So mid-90s Suikoden comes out. Is very good game, and really, I don't know, we were trying to work this out yesterday in the video that I watched about it, trying to work out what it is that really makes it hit you in not just the feels, but in that kind of visceral precognitive instinct that you see. Got it, Griff. Yeah, Griff. Right. I mean, you get called these names anyway, so you might as well just do it. And yeah, no, I mean, there's this sort of visceral feeling you get when there's a game that is pulling you back. Every minute you're away from it, you want to be playing it again. And that was what they achieved with JRPGs in the 90s. And Suikoden was the first of the PS1 generation, apart from games like King's Field and things like that. But they're more, I mean, that's more like a primordial Skyrim, primordial Oblivion, or, you know, just a first-person action RPG adventure kind of thing. A true JRPG is turn-based for a start. That's a big one. That's a really big one. You've got to have like beautiful music and various other things like that as well. And we played these games, and then they all got overlooked by the Final Fantasy series. And that's totally fine, by the way, because the Final Fantasy series was excellent back then and absolutely deserved to be the poster boy for the genre. But we didn't forget about these games. Even now, we're looking at a world where Breath of Fire 1 through 3 are not available on Steam, even though the first two, of course, are available on Nintendo, unless they take them down, because that's what Nintendo likes to do as a business model. Make it so that you can't actually own the games. You can only rent them temporarily for a monthly fee, which I hate. Of course I do. I want to own the things that I own. It's important. But anyway, the games came out, Suikoden came out, but each one was kind of overlooked more and more and more. They didn't even release 3 in the PAL region, so I never got to play it natively on the console that it was actually designed for, which was PS2. But then Suikoden 4 and 5 both did come out. By then, though, far too little, far too late. I found both of them secondhand. In fact, I think the only one I've ever bought new was Suikoden 2. The rest I found secondhand on various shelves or in a bin of some kind in a game shop and picked them up because they looked cool and played them. Rob in Oz. Suikoden. Yeah, that was weird the way that guy kept pronouncing that. But anyway, the point is, the games vanished, but they left behind an audience who really loved that particular blend, that particular flavor of JRPG, with its base building and mass recruitment of Stars of Destiny, etc., etc. But Konami didn't care. They didn't fund it, and it disappeared. The series vanished. And for 15 years, there was nothing, not a whisper, until the creators of Suikoden got together, started a Kickstarter for a game called Eiyuden Chronicle that was a spiritual successor. At that point, when that Kickstarter became one of the most successful Kickstarters for a video game ever, Konami finally took notice. By this point, of course, they'd already left the industry, all but. They were out there making fucking pachinko machines out of Silent Hill and Metal Gear and pissing everybody off. Crazy. But of course, we did get, eventually, the slight whisper that they may be coming back to gaming. And then they started to release games again, started to release trailers again. And about 5 years ago, something like that, they announced that there would be a remaster of Suikoden. And the Suikoden revival movement went berserk. Of course we did. I mean, it was one of those things where if you've played these games, then names like Victor, Flick, Cleo, Pan, Gremio, Tyr, Teo, Jean, Vicky, and all these other names are as prominent in your mind as Tifa, Cloud, Barrett, Yrys, Sid, you know? And it was very hard to find other people who had that experience, which is why the Suikoden revival movement started on Facebook. I joined it when it had less than 1,000 subs. Now it has 30,000. Fantastic. And it's because of the pressure that the people have been putting on Konami, asking them for years and years and years and years to re-release the Suikoden games, to make a new Suikoden game. And we'll get people to buy it this time. We'll try and make it a big deal, because things have changed now. It's not a graphical arms race anymore. In fact, it's gone the other way. If you can make something that looks cool and retro, people are more likely to get excited for that, which is great. It's fantastic. It means that actual artistic merit can shine once again. But then, of course, the Suikoden revival movement was kind of aghast to discover that the remasters had vanished. Again, we're like, wait, when are these games coming out? They're on Steam. They were supposed to come out in 2023. Then they didn't. Then nothing was announced. In fact, nothing was announced until middle of last year, when suddenly it was announced, or late last year, about August, September last year, they said, okay, we are in fact going to release these remasters in March 2025. You know what else happened at that time last year? Eiyuden Chronicle came out and sold like gangbusters. Yes, I know the localization was a bit cringe. It was a teensy bit woke, actually. But the game was really, really fun. Really fun. And as a result, people were hyped to play more. Divining Dragon, pushing that. Likes. You want a wrench, Divining Dragon? It's been a long time now. I probably should have given you one a while ago. Anyway, there we go. So we're going to take a look at the broadcast that came out of Konami to celebrate now that Suikoden's back, that they are in fact committed to it. They are going to continue to produce new content for it. There are a couple of announcements that have already been spoiled for me, but there's no reason they have to be spoiled for you. It does appear that we are in fact going to be getting an anime of Suikoden and a mobile game as well. So let's do it, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right, you can have a wrench because there's no other mods here at the moment. Okay, let's watch this then, because this was a nice broadcast I haven't really seen yet, so I'd like very much to have a look at it and see how we feel. Here we go. Mr. Performance. This is the intro to the first game. My mind is blown. I never thought I'd ever see this. I never thought I'd ever see this. Huh. Metroberry Inc. Okay. Fucking hell. Wow. Wow. I mean, wow. Not for nothing, but wow. I mean, that just kind of blew me away. First, as a gamer, a fan of the series. Secondly, as a classically trained musician. I love watching game concerts. I've been to several of them. I never thought I'd see one for Suikoden. Never. Hey, Hypno. How you doing, buddy? Oh, man. That was... I don't want to tell you. That made my heart grow 3 sizes that day, you know? What a beautiful thing to have experienced. Wow. Amazing. Beautiful. Let's see what else they got.
See
how he pronounced it?
幻想水湖伝ライブいよいよ始まりました。オープニングを飾っていただいたのはメトロベリーで幻想水湖伝1より幻想の世界へでした。この後もこのオーケストラの名曲を皆様にお聴きいただきたいと思います。最後までぜひお楽しみいただきたいと思います。さあ、改めまして、本日の司会進行を務めさせていただきます森一丁と申します。よろしくお願いいたします。
Hello, Japanese man. おはようございます。
斉藤さん。はい。すごいですね、オーケストラの演奏。
迫力違いますよ。もうちょっとね、感動しました。初回特別。
なるほど。改めまして内藤さん、自己紹介お願いします。
はい。幻想水湖伝の IP プロデュースと思います内藤です。よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
I just love Japanese people.
内藤さん、いよいよ3月6日ですから、2日後です。はい。2日後に幻想水湖伝 1&2 HD リマスターも
It's not 2 days anymore, guys. It's like 7 hours.
の紋章戦争、そしてデュナン統一戦争が発売となります。もう皆さんからの声届いてきている頃じゃないですか。
Apologies to anyone who's just listening to the show, by the way.
人が予約していただいてて、も
う I'm not reading out every word they say.
今か今かと待ってる声を聞いているので、やっと届けられるんじゃないかと。で、108日前からカウントダウンやらせていただいてるんですけど、
出ましたね。
はい。あと数日です。
改めてじゃあご紹介させてください。幻想水湖伝は IP& ゲームディレクターの崎山さん、そしてディレクターの大口さんです。よろしくお願いします。よろしくお願いします。
What the fuck is going on? We're watching some Japanese people talking about a game. I mean, it's fun. These guys are cool. They're clearly very interested and invested in what they're doing. I love to see it. That fucking hat is badass. I think Atreus needs to get up like that.
プラットフォームがなんだかいろいろ追加されているとお伺いしましたが、
はい、すでにご存知の方もいらっしゃいますが、新たに遊べるプラットフォームを追加いたしました。はい、Windows PC。
Ah, man, that's so fucking cool. It's on everything. Like, this is a game that at one point you couldn't find anywhere. It was only on PlayStation, I think. I'm not sure if it was on Saturn as well. I might be mixing it up with Grandia there. But yeah, Suikoden was effectively a PlayStation series that vanished up into the void of... It got memory hold. That's what I'm trying to say. I try to be fair about things like that. But anyway, the point is that no one could get a copy of this game, especially Suikoden 2. At one point, Suikoden 1 was about $80 or $90 on eBay, or pounds actually, because it was in England, obviously. And Suikoden 2 was 250 quid for a boxed copy, secondhand, not even in mint condition, like in good condition. It was that fucking rare. So yeah, I mean, it was set up almost to fail. I mean, it wasn't deliberately, but Konami just didn't care anymore. They just did not give a shit. And they've obviously bounced back. They've been trying to get some fan goodwill back. Clearly, the pachinko machine business didn't... Well, I mean, you'd think it was a license to print money, but for whatever reason, they've come back to try to create new games. So, hey, kind of worked out that well. But that's fine. But the real takeaway from this, then, is the fact that these games, for the first time, are available on anything. You can basically, you're going to boot them up on PS1 to see the difference. The difference is pretty fucking amazing, to be honest. I mean, I have a very accurate image in my head of the PlayStation 1 version. I streamed it a couple of years ago on a different channel. Well, actually longer ago than that, before this channel existed. And, you know, first of all, you've got the obvious difference of 4:3 becoming 16:9. And you've got the resolution being massively, massively different from PlayStation to contemporary HD platforms. They've completely redrawn all the backgrounds, all of the environments, including battle scenes, you know, parallax stuff as well, and the actual environment that you're running around. They've added, even just for the first game, you could only move in 4 directions, and you had no run animation. And if you wanted to run, you had to equip a wind rune to one of your characters, effectively making them useless in battle. No, it wasn't a wind rune, it was a holy rune, because that had no magical application at all. All it did was allow you to be able to run. So there was that. And then if you wanted to be able to run on the world map, you had to recruit a particular character, one of the elves. And that would let you run around on the world map. Now, getting back to the point, the games were memory hold largely because they were limited to one platform that over the years has lost any backwards compatibility it once had. They were added to the PS Vita PlayStation Store about 2015, I want to say. And that was cool. That was really cool because a bunch of people got to play it. But then it was the Vita. Who the fuck had a Vita? So no. So now, for the first time, these games that no one thought we'd ever see come back. We really had given up hope. I think a lot of people thought, well, if all I can do is, play these games on the systems that I got them on or emulate them for the rest of my life, I guess that's something. But they'll never get the recognition they deserve. They'll never get the mainstream appeal they deserve. Well, what's your excuse now? It's on Switch, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Series S, Xbox One, Steam, Microsoft Store, and Epic Games. It's on everything. There's no excuse to not be able to play these games. They're not even expensive. It's only like £40 for the two of them, which is pretty much what they each cost brand new when they came out. Fucking inflation, I guess. And it's really nice to see this renaissance of JRPGs coming back. Wargaming Dad is right. Luna next month. Absolutely. We've seen it with Grandia HD Remaster as well. But of course, the next thing we'll all have to bleat on about now that we've got Suikoden is, when are we going to get a Legend of Dragoon remaster? Come on, Sony. Make that a PS5 exclusive and I'll actually buy a PS5. For something like that, I think, yeah, maybe. Anyway, let's crack on.
PC 上のプラットフォームとして、マイクロソフトストアと、エピックゲームズストアを追加いたしました。詳細な情報に関しましては、公式サイトに掲載させておりますが、様々なプラットフォームにて遊べるようにしてまいります。
はい。他にも情報ありますか？
はい。ご要望の多かった、
Oh, wow. Difficulty options. I didn't know that. That's fucking awesome. Because to be honest, Suikoden 1 is kind of easy. It's not a massively difficult game. Once you figure out the mechanics and how they're different from standard JRPGs, which I alluded to yesterday with the leveling system being that you always need exactly 1,000 experience points to level up. But at the same time, your relative strength to the area that you're in will change the amount of experience you get, which allows low-level characters to be brought into your party and leveled up to your level in a couple of minutes, assuming you can keep them alive in the battle for long enough. But that makes it relatively easy, especially if you learn to exploit the gambling mechanic with the dice game to make yourself ridiculously rich, so you can just immediately equip absolutely everybody with top-tier armor. But to have a difficulty option is cool. I'll probably just play it on normal the first time so I can go through it and stream it, but I'm definitely going to play it again on hard, if there's a hard. I mean, I wonder what they'll do. I hope they don't add any annoying mechanics that like just limit your ability in the game and just make the bad guys tougher or something. That would be better.
難易度選択について追加しております。
Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. You could only move in 4 directions in the original, and there was no running animation for the main character. If you've seen the trailer, the recent trailer, there is now 8-directional movement, and he has run animation. So they've actually made new animations for the sprites, as well as updating the backgrounds. And the other thing that's really interesting, they haven't done really anything to the soundtrack. A couple of jingles, like the recruitment noise that plays when you get a new recruit or someone joins your party, they've clearly re-recorded that. But for the rest, the soundtrack was, I don't know what they used to record the soundtrack originally, if it was real MP3 or whatever. It wasn't a hell of a lot of MIDI sound, but the soundtrack was really, really high quality, even back on the original PS1. So they haven't had to actually update that, which is nice because it is exactly how I remember it.
こちらですけれども、1、2ともに、各タイトル、イージー、ノーマル、ハードの3つから選択可能にしております。はい、また、発売前ではあるのですが、ここで、製品のバージョンアップのお知らせがあります。
発売前に？
はい。不具合の修正だったり、音量バランスの調整、一部テキストの、修正しております。イベントタイマーの、停止という機能を追加いたします。ゲーム内の中に、制限時間
Turn off event timer. That's going to be handy. There are some fucking annoying side quests that are on time limits. And some of them are virtually impossible. In fact, it would make it so that you wouldn't really be able to play the game properly. If, for example, you are trying to play the game at your own pace, and then suddenly you get something that's on a time limit, you have to rush. It's going to annoy the fuck out of people. So being able to turn the timers off and just enjoy the game at your own pace is kind of nice. Yeah, I guess. Normally, I don't go in for like nerfing difficulty or things like that, but I guess if it's optional, it's not that big a deal. And to be fair, they are almost like so bad that they would break your experience.
のある、イベントが存在しているんですが、こちらを気にしてしまうあまりに、せっかくのプレイなんですが集中できないということがありましたので、こちら製品完成後とはなりますが追加することといたしました。
あ、じゃあもうゆっくりなんかイベント楽しめると。
そうですね。こちらの機能ですけれども。
Is that I can't read Japanese, obviously, but is that the game running at 2160? Is that resolution?
原作通りにプレイしたいお客様もいらっしゃると思いますので、
at a certain point, the sprites are just going to be so fucking huge. You're going to have to like play the game from 20 feet away.
できるようにいたしました。
助かります。
こちら各プラットフォーム3月6日以降に、オンラインでのアップデートが必要となりますのでよろしくお願いいたします。はい。
さあ、他にもあるんですよね。
Alright, let's skip
そうで
ahead
す
a
ね。
little
ファン
bit.
の方からご要望の多かった LINE スタンプを作りました。原作に
What else we got?
描写はビクトールとフリック。
Oh, a
3
book.
人の幼馴染の姿。1と2。
That would be nice. Look at this new artwork. Again, if you haven't played these games, these characters mean nothing to you, but if you have played them, it's like I'm trying to explain how it feels. It'd be like if Final Fantasy VII disappeared, was memory hold, almost to the point of you thinking like, do I live in the Mandela effect or something? Imagine if that happened and then finally they released the game again and there was all this brand new fresh artwork of the characters and just so much clear love and focus being pumped into this thing. Now, of course, I am a little worried that it will dilute the fan base and that the games will begin to change direction and they'll become corporatized and ruined, which would piss me off more perhaps than you know, if we just preserve this shit. So you got to hold the gate. But at the same time, it's just really great that people will get to play these again. Because I know, like, I see these two guys here, Victor and Flick, and I'm thinking, I remember meeting them. I remember the circumstances of their particular angles in the plot. I also remember how they exit the first game and then reappear in the second game. Slight spoilers there, but I think at this point, everybody kind of knows that. If you've watched the trailer, you will notice the same two faces just aged up a bit in the second one. So there's that. Also, spoilers for a game that came out 30 years ago. So, you know. Anyway, there we go. That's right, Divine and Dragon. Hold the gate. Hold the gate. Hold the line. Wow. Okay. Anyway, here we go.
それが一つになり、パーフェクトガイドブックの名にふさわしい装いになったと思います。書店で坊ちゃんとこの目があったらぜひお手に取っていただければと思います。デラックスパックでは表紙のイラストのタペストリーを特典としてついてきます。
Yeah, okay, so they've got all this cool stuff for the deluxe physical edition. I guess I don't know how available that will be in other countries. Probably around though. Kind of wish I had that option here, but I don't really. Not in the Philippines anyway. You probably will see it on Switch shelves, but probably that'll be it.
そして新紀元社さんから1999年と2002年に出版された108世キャラクターガイドも HD リマスター対応版として復刊。
So it originally comes from like these books that translates as the water margin, and they're Chinese, but we're not talking like modern day CCP Chinese. We're talking a long time ago, like considered one of the 4 great works of Chinese literature. And the 108 Stars of Destiny and the Rebellion are themes that are 100% lifted from that story and brought into Suikoden for that reason. And it's a fantastic thing, like to have all these characters that you can recruit, many of which can be used in battle, all of which provide some benefit to you, whether it's small or even if it's just for diegetic's sake. Like that character we were looking at in the yesterday video, the girl Sarah, who's a washerwoman. Yeah, she's a party member. She's not particularly strong or useful, but in the canon of the show, of the game, when you recruit her, suddenly your castle has like clothes hanging out to dry and stuff, and that's much more believable. You're trying to raise an army and no one's washing their armor. I mean, their clothes and things. it's just cool. Like little touches like that. They really pay attention to what it would be like. And it's that kind of attention to detail that I think is a major element of why people love these games so much. There's very little that you will not have explained to you in terms of like why things are the way they are in the world. They don't focus so much on characters. The characters remain largely a mystery apart from their involvement in the key scenes of the game. Like, for example, the group that you start off with in the game, the first game, I don't know how any of them met. Well, I know how one of them met the other one, but that's I can't tell you because that would be a massive spoiler. But you know, you don't need to know quite this stuff. It's just established quite early on that these people have known each other for years and years and years, and the relationships that they have with each other have been going on for years and years. And so you still get that vibe because it's written expertly to allow you to understand what characters mean to each other and things like that. So it's really great. None of these characters feel hollow. You know, they don't feel like just plot devices or, you know, functional upgrades for your base. They feel like people with, you know, dreams, ambitions, and all of that stuff. Anyway, enough about the collector's edition. Let's crack on and see what's going on with them announcing more for the game.
10月8日の108世の日、オデッサから始まった108カウントダウン。
Odessa?
ゲームショー出展なども様々な活動。
Yeah, they started counting down characters, like a sticker for each character every day, and they started with Odessa, who is at the beginning of the game, she's the leader of the Liberation Army.
通じて国内外の元帥ファンの皆様から数多くのコメント
Until you become the leader.
をいただきました。一人でも多くの人に時代が変わってもこの色あせることのない波乱万丈のストーリーを体感していただき、一人でも多く元帥ファンを増やしていけるように、これからもこの世界で繰り広げられる物語を大切に発信していきたいと思いますので、よろしくお願いします。
The best thing about this, of course, is
ありがとうございました。
if these do well, there are still 3 more. There's 3, 4, and 5. There are Suikoden stories as well, games that came out a long time ago that hardly anyone played. And there are lots of other things related to the world and the characters and the history that could easily be expanded on, and you could get... I mean, I think the ultimate goal of everybody who loves and cares about this series is to see the word Suikoden 6 on a box one day.
さあそれではここで改めてですが、幻想水湖伝 1&2 HD リマスター門の
And actually, it's interesting because the guy who created the series was really young. He was like right out of college when Konami gave him the opportunity to make these games. So there's every possibility that, you know, he'll be able to continue to make more of them. Unless he's now just committed to Aiden Chronicle. I don't know. No idea about the logistics of that one.
戦争デュナン統一戦争のローンチトレーラーをご覧ください。どうぞ。
Okay, we saw this yesterday, but let's watch it again.
Suikoden is a JRPG series that tells its story through more than 100 unique characters.
This guy does not know how to pronounce this game. It's really obvious. I don't know why they didn't get him to do it again, because you listen to the Japanese guys and they're like, it's all Suikoden. And he's like, Suikoden.
The 2 original titles have been united for the latest consoles as Suikoden.
It's worth pointing out that Suikoden 2 is widely considered one of the greatest JRPGs ever made.
And 1 and 2 HD Remaster. Suikoden 1, Gate Rune War is where it all started. The Empire is in chaos due to a violent tyrant, once a renowned hero.
I know they keep putting that in the description, but the Emperor himself is only in about 3 scenes in the entire game, so I don't know why they keep focusing on him so much. And it's not even really his fault that everything's gone to fuck in the Empire. But you'll find out if you play the game. I'm just fucking excited, guys. I am excited. Like, I don't ever get this excited for new games coming out or old games coming out. I just don't. I don't experience the same kind of excitement that I did as a younger man, as a teenager, as a kid. Right now, I feel like I'm sitting on the precipice of the day Final Fantasy VIII came out. You know, after like 3 years or so of waiting. 2 years, I think it was, maybe. You know, I've been literally hoping that something like this might happen for 20 years. And now I'm literally less than 7 hours away from playing it. Hopefully. Griff.
Our hero stands up as the leader of the Liberation Army and gathers allies to fight against the oppressive rule. Ideals, honor, friendship, loyalty, love, ambition. Various ideas swirl under two different flags, the Liberation Army and the Imperial Army. Suikoden 2, Dunan Unification War is the direct sequel. The main characters, 3 childhood friends, find themselves tossed into a great whirlpool of destiny.
So Luca Blight is a fucking amazing character. He's so gleefully, mercilessly evil. It's like I would put him on about the same kind of level or category as Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. You know, just a complete fuck up of a person who revels in causing pain, destruction, and misery to everyone around him. And he really is just a merciless bastard. In fact, he's really tough too, because it takes 3 parties of people to take him down. I mean, you can actually completely body him if you know what you're doing, but you still have to fight him 3 times with 3 different parties.
Destiny between the kingdom and the city-states. The hero and his childhood friend Joey of the kingdom's army are ambushed by the city-states amidst a truce. In a world where the sparks of conflict are smoldering once again, the heroes come to acknowledge their own justice.
See, there's your spoilers for Victor and Flick.
Suikoden features more than 108 characters.
By the way, I have not spoiled anything. Whatever I've said is just general stuff that you might expect. I haven't told you anything.
Players travel around the world, form and expand on their relationships as they
I just get a kick out of seeing these characters' faces drawn again in HD.
meet new friends. The number of allies that join your army will lead to leveling up your home base. As it expands, various facilities are added to increase convenience, and your journey continues.
See, look at that. That diagonal, and also the animation of him running instead of just walking. These are new. They were not in the original. Also, they've added footsteps, like sound effects. So that's cool. How do I feel about it being on mobile? Well, I don't know if they've announced this for mobile, but they've announced a side game for mobile, which is a bit of a gacha game. So I don't really know about that. Officially, I'm against it, but it depends how good the game is in general. I do understand that the mobile game they announced later in this video, which I don't know if we'll get to because I don't know if we'll have time for. Oh yeah, there it is. We'll have a look at that in a minute. I understand that it bridges the gap between Suikoden 5 and Suikoden 1 because 4 and 5 take place years before 1. Obviously all in different parts of the world. Suikoden 4 is like, it's like 100 years before Suikoden 1, and Suikoden 5 is like a few years, not many years, like 10 years or something before Suikoden 1.
Suikoden follows a turn-based command battle.
Remember how excited you get as a JRPG player to hear a really good battle theme or a great boss theme? It just fires you up. You don't get that anymore.
Powerful skills and co-op with allies are used to battle powerful enemies. In addition, auto battle and double speed mode have been implemented. With sped up battles, players can deeply immerse themselves in the story.
There's your generals, you'll be fighting all of them.
War, where the player's army fights the enemy army, and Duel, in which the player fights one-on-one. Both special fights add a new layer of tension and excitement to the battles.
Don't lose.
New features such as autosave.
Exactly, Hypno.
Mini-map. Convo log.
That's
and
interesting.
swapping equipment between characters have been...
So I actually understand this now. When I saw it yesterday, I didn't quite understand what they were getting at. There is a real problem with the original game in the inventory management. So, like, every character can only hold 9 items. The equipment you are wearing counts. leaving you with maybe only 4 slots to be able to carry items. And if you want to change gear or exchange with someone else, then you need to like create a slot in their inventory, which means giving someone this, and then you take that from the person, and then you equip it, and then you give them what they want, and you equip it. But apparently now you can just straight switch between people, so that's cool. That's a big improvement. You can't really make this game without the 9 item inventory limit because it forces the decisions you make as a player. So you've got to keep that. But there are probably other things. I mean, they have changed the way the running works. So the fact that you don't need to have a character who's effectively useless as a magic user because they've had to equip the rune that allows you to run if you make that choice. They've removed that. So now you've got an extra character who can use magic. So that might make the game a bit easier. I don't know. I'm sure they've thought of all this stuff, but that's the kind of things I think about when I go into like my little obsessive mode.
Implemented to boost practicality. The field has been completely redesigned with HD background graphics and updated character.
These are fucking glorious and really very close to the original as well.
Illustrations. An epic story spun anew after
that. You can't even see the. Hang on, let's go back a bit before that fade. Like you see that castle on the left, like that second section of wall is not there in the original. And of course you're in 4x3 as well.
New after 30 years. Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster. Gateway and Dunan Unification Wars. On sale March 6th.
That is a weird subtitle to have. If you don't know already what the Gate Rune and Dunan Unification Wars are, it might mean nothing to anyone, but they are basically the names of the wars that happen in each of the games.
さあ、内藤さん、次の情報の前なんですけれども、去年の TGS で、
All right, let's have a look at the mobile game then.
という言葉を、
first there's another
でご
console.
ざいますので、
Let's hear
よ
some
ろしく
music.
お願いします。
はい、ありがとうございます。内藤さん、あれですね、現場とかせっかくだからコナミアニメーションがやってる
So they're doing an anime?
入ったりカメラ入ったりとか
しましょ
う。そんなに簡単に約束して大丈夫ですか？
大丈夫です。
Okay, I need to see this.
続いてロさん。
They're doing an anime and they're using Konami animation.
早速、それではこちらをご覧いただきましょ
う。Although it should probably be Konami. Intro music from Suikoden 2. Yeah, there's the X on the stone, so this is definitely Suikoden 2. Okay, so they're going with, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I suppose 2 is the most popular.
なんと幻想水湖伝アニメ化決定。待ってました。それではゲストをご紹介。
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of people going crazy for a Suikoden anime. That's cool. All right, let's have a listen to this. Oh, cool. This is the music from Suikoden 2. This is amazing music. It's the theme of fate, really. And it sounds like it. It's in all the games. It's her theme. Amazing. Beautiful. Ah, this bit's great. Amazing. It's a great piece of music. Something is definitely happening with this series now. Amazing. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Oh yeah, this is the other one. It's like the friendship theme, I guess. Or like characters who are important to each other. Amazing. Just the fact that there are orchestras out there playing music from video games. Music on this platform don't get along well. I don't care. If I get flagged for it, I get flagged for it. I'm just happy to share it. It's fucking gorgeous music. I don't know why I never learned to play this. Yeah, I don't mind if I get flagged because, well, most of the time it makes a little difference. Like a bit of ad revenue doesn't really touch me. most of my sustainability comes from you guys. Yeah, I've seen like every Zelda orchestra event ever. Amazing. Yeah, I went to see a Distant Worlds concert in Edinburgh some years ago now. Everyone was in cosplay. I put on a tuxedo. This is just so calming and chilling, man. I'm having a great time. Amazing. Amazing. Makes you want to go. That's right. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
さあ、内藤さん、次の情報は？
はい。先ほどセカンドステップの話、お話したんですけど、まずはアニメが第一弾。そして第二弾を考えました。で、アニメっていうのは、まあ、みんなに見てもらおう。全世界に見てもらおう。もう一個、幻想水湖伝に手軽に誰でも触れる環境を作れないか。
This is a weird thing that happens these days. People think you need an entry point. Like he's saying here, they want to create a mobile game that creates an entry point for Suikoden. You know what my entry point was for Suikoden? Suikoden 1.
かなっていうのを思って。
Spy and play the fucking games.
はい。
なんと、モバイルゲームを。
モバイル。はい。ほい。
ほい indeed, buddy. Alright, but is it any good?
これ、じゃあ早速ですけども、何か見れるものはあります。あるんですね。はい。ありました。じゃあ早速。はい。はい。こちらをご覧ください。
This will be a tough sell.
私の力を正しく導いてくれるこの人のおかげで
Voice
笑
acting?
って過ごせるようになりました。
Mobile game. That's right. To answer the comment about whether or not you can recruit Tia McDowell in the second game, I would be shocked if they hadn't copied that wholesale across from the original.
お前には紋章の才がある。だからこ
No,
そ
it's one of their
その
balls.
力とどう向き合うのか自分で答えを見つけろ。
世界を創造したとされる。
They have clearly been very inspired by Eiyuden Chronicle Rising, the game before, or Eiyuden Chronicle in general, with the camera angle.
27ある真の紋章。変化の紋章はそのうちの一つ。
心の強さが人を引きつけ、強い者たちが集まってくる。それは里の将来にとっても大事なことです。
若様、若様。
紋章を出せ。紋章を出せ。
おい、なんだよこれ。
風の噂によるとあなた珍しい紋章をお持ちのようですね。
私、
逃げろ。
I mean, it looks kind of interesting. That's a straight rip-off of Suikoden 2. Oh, wow, that's Vicky. Huh. That's her teleport sound effect too. You love Japanese over-the-top voiceovers? Yeah, me too. It looks pretty cool. It just kind of depends on where the monetization mechanics come in, because apparently it's free to play. Like, do you have to pay for stuff, or can you just play it? That's Gregminster. Fuck. That's the town from the beginning of the game. Yeah, that's... Wow. That's literally your hometown in Suikoden 1. I recognize that statue anywhere. Fucking hell. That's pretty cool. And the architecture's right as well. Never seen it in 3D before. Interesting.
あなたと共にいたい。私はもっと変わりたいんです。幻想水湖伝スターリープ。
Starleap. Starleap? I mean, Stars of Destiny, I guess, but strange name. Okay. Do we have a release date for it? I heard there was nothing mentioned. I didn't see a date there. So
ということで、幻想水湖伝スターリープ。奥行きある 2D で再現されました幻想水湖伝の世界。
I love the way the Japanese still kind of present things like TV shows and announcements as if it's like 50 years ago. It's like shouting and whoa, wow, yeah. Okay, buddy. Like, don't get too excited. All right, what else is going on here? We're still talking about Starleap, still talking about Starleap, still talking about Starleap. For fuck's sake, really? Still talking about... No, we're back. We're there we go. Let's have a look. Suikoden 1 stage adaptation. What? What?
これどこを題材として舞台化って？
これはもう幻想水湖伝1からちゃんと。
Did he say Genso Suikoden 1 as opposed to Ichi?
これも段階ステップ踏んでいくってことですか？
進んでいきます。
ちょっと改めてゲストご紹介させてください。
ちょっと like what?
はい、株式会社フロンティアワークス執行役員で舞台ミュージカルの企画制作プロデュースを手掛けていらっしゃいますレーベル 4CU のプロデューサー岩崎さんです。よろしくお願いします。
お願いします。
岩崎さん、改めて自己紹介お願いします。
はい、舞台幻想水湖伝のプロデューサー担当しますフロンティアワークス岩崎です。よろしくお願いいたします。
お願いいたします。はい、どうさん。はい。幻想水湖伝1から。
Outfit is ludicrous. I love it.
なぜ舞台化しようと思ったんですか。
So quirky.
岩崎さんと知り合いになりまして、前々からこういろんな舞台に招待してもらって、この決まったステージになる。
Isn't it nice to do a stream where I'm just in a great mood the whole time because this fucking thing is so cool to me and I'm so happy to see it. Like, tomorrow we'll be back to bitching about crap that's ruining our entertainment, but for one day we can be happy.
なんかね、どうやって幻想水湖伝を再現できるんするんだろうと、もうこれもすごい楽しみで、しかも生身の人間が108キャラ本当に出るかどうかわからないですけど、もう本当楽しみだ、一回見てみたいっていうのを伝えましてお願いしました。
そんな簡単にお願いしたんです。
はい。
I prefer bitter will. It'll be back tomorrow, no doubt. There's a shitload of stuff that I would like to talk about, but I want to cover this first because this is a big fucking day. This is momentous.
岩崎さん、聞いた時どうでしたか。
そしてまず何よりこの世界中にこんだけ多く愛される作品を舞台化できるって大変喜びに満ち溢れておりまして、特にこう舞台はやはり魅力的な物語、登場人物がいないと成り立たないんですが、この幻想水湖はそれが全て兼ね備わっていると思いましたので、これを確かにこう生身の人間が演じたら、とてももう演劇としても本当に最高の作品。
So they really are going to do a stage play of Suikoden 1. Okay. I mean, that sounds interesting.
になるんじゃないかと思いまして、それでやらせていただくことになりました。
確かにでも世界観だったりとかも舞台装置もそうですけども。
Genuinely don't know how you could probably do that. How do you do like the giant army battles where there's like 10,000 people fighting another 20,000 people? How the hell are you going to do that?
何よりも脚本とか気になるところですよね。
今回幻想水湖伝1、あくまで原点ということで、主人公坊ちゃんの物語を描きたいという思いがすごく強くてでして、ただこう元気正義感だけではなく、すごく悲劇的な運命であったりですとか、彼が背負うもの。
Oh my god, they're gonna make Tia McDowell speak. That would be really, really weird. I don't know how you do that. It would be like if Link started speaking. You know, and not like in the way that the manga adaptations have dealt with it, like in the "Excuse me, princess" kind of way.
すごく大きいものがありますので、彼の物語を描きたいってものはすごく大きい。
It's not 12 a.m. EST, it's 12 a.m. PST. Just to let you know. So it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon my time.
かったかもしれないですね。
なるほど。これ演出はどなたかもう決めてらっしゃる。
はい。脚本演出の中屋敷典人さんとこう。もう演劇の中ではもう皆様もう中屋敷さんって多分きっとと言っていただけると思うんですけれども、実は一緒にやるのは今回初めてなんですけども、
そうなんですね。
はい、今回この話をいただいた時に真っ先に中屋敷さんにお願いしたいっていう思いがありまして、ちょっと個人的にちょっとネットから、ちょっと長いちょっとこういう思いでこういうふうにしていただいたんですってちょっとメールをさせていただいた結果返事いただいて、快諾していただいたってことがありましたので、個人的にもすごくご一緒でということで、
全然知らない中 DM したんですか。
そう、DX でメールの方だったんですけども、多分きっと。
This is bizarre development. I really did not expect to see them go this direction with it. A stage play of Suikoden. Weird stuff, man. The Japanese they do weird stuff. I mean, it's great. It's potentially cool. Arvo's afternoon, it's an Aussie thing. Oh, right, okay. I don't know that. I've never been to Australia. I'm not Australian. I may sound it sometimes, but I'm not. Anyway, there you go, guys. Suikoden is back. Bye. Amazing, right? Crazy. It's back. And if you've never played it before, you've got a chance. You've now got a chance to play 2 of the best JRPGs ever made. Wow, that bar is looking miserable, isn't it? It's a shame I can't show what actually is in it. Should probably just take it down. Anyway, that will probably have to do. I have some things I need to get on with today. We will crack on tomorrow with a few extra topics that we normally talk about, various things that just want to ruin everything we know and love. But for one day, at least, we were able to have a good time. We were able to sit and revel and celebrate in fandom, which is something it's important to remember to do sometimes, even as You know, most of the time we're effectively at war, but we have to do what we have to do. And sometimes it's nice to stop, take a look around, smell the roses, all that stuff. And it's been fun. I like it. The occasional happy stream is no bad thing. But of course, still plenty of other crap going on. Yes, Wargaming Dad, war, culture war. Anyway, that's what we're doing. Yes. Anyway, that will do. I'm going to tune out now, and I'm going to go and handle the rest of my affairs, and hopefully be back in time to fire up some Suikoden and play it. I guess I can stream it. The first part, anyway. In the meantime, I will catch you guys on the flip-flop, and I appreciate you all for coming here, and special thanks, of course, to James Up for donating all those memberships earlier on. Really appreciate you for that, buddy. And, of course, I will be back tomorrow, same time, doing what I do, having some fun, making a mockery of everything that tries to make a mockery of us. And fair enough. So there you go. And till then, I'll leave you with the credits. And oh wait, actually, I forgot to mention, yeah, we have WTF Live at the usual time as well. So be sure to take care and be there for that, because we'll be going over some funny little developments. We've got some sad, pathetic dickheads trying to antagonize us. We've got all this kind of stuff. It's fun. It's just life on the internet. It's enjoyable. And plenty of other rubbish to talk about. So be there for that. And of course, until then, have a good time. See you later.